Jay. Trae Young, the Atlanta Hawks scoring machine, baby Steph Curry, knockoff Steph Curry, I think is what we would call him, knockoff. And some people, he's good knockoff, bad knockoff. He's not Steph Curry, but he got tossed from last night's game against the Orlando Magic. Trae Young and Atlanta got blown out last night by Orlando. Trae Young gets ejected. They're getting blown out by Orlando. Trae Young gets ejected. Has he always been a little bit petulant, or is this?
Yeah, it doesn't. So that doesn't showcase the clip. It kind of gets lost in the broadcast there, the broadcast feed. But I've seen some feeds from cell phones. So I've seen people in the stands that were recording it. Essentially, what happens there is Trae Young, after the layup, meaningless layup, may I add. They were getting worked at the time. It was a 22-point game when he made this layup. So it cut the lead to 20 late in the stages of the fourth quarter, like 4:50 left in the game. And he got the ball quickly. It went through the hoop. He threw it at the official. So that was what the initial tech was given to him for. Then the official closest to that on the baseline rolls the ball down to the other official to shoot the technical fouls. Trae Young intercepted that pass from official to official and started playing keep away from the other official. You know, kicking the ball around, playing keep away. After the game, Jason, the game official that was officially discussing it, said that he was ejected for, quote, making a mockery of the game. So that is what Trae Young was officially thrown out for. And you know, I can't say that he has a long history of this clownish behavior and antics, but that was straight scrubbish behavior last night in that stanza of the game, in that kind of a game. And Jason, real quick, before I turn it back to you, I just want to give a little context on Trae Young. Just let me sprinkle some context in here real quick. Trae Young is fantastic. From a career standpoint, statistically, this guy is unbelievable. He is third.
It's like 42% from the field or
fair
career.
Fair. He's a volume shooter, but he is third all time in NBA history in assists per game right now. Third all time in per game average of assists, behind only Magic Johnson and John Stockton. And if you look at the top 10 guys on that list, he has the second highest points per game of any of those 10 guys. In fact, none of the 10 guys on that list, other than Oscar Robertson, even average 20 points per game for their career. Oscar and Trae Young average 25 points per game each, both around 9.5 assists per game. Jason, what I'm telling you here is, this guy's running around for 7 years in the NBA with identical career statistics to Oscar freaking Robertson. Yet, look at this. Look at the antics last night. Look at the clownish behavior.
Here's my takeaway more than anything is that's an indication of like, hey, what have we done to the game when Trae Young, who's rather inconsequential, can put up stats that put him on the same level as Oscar Robertson, Magic Johnson, and John Stockton, and no one regards him in that level? It's another indication of like, hey, this game has skidded off the roads in terms of style of play, in terms of lack of defensive intensity, in terms of lack of competition. This game, and let's say we argue the other side of it, like Trae Young is really, really good and people just don't understand. And if LeBron James and Steve Nash saying, if they just explained the game better, we would all appreciate Trae Young. Maybe that's true. And it goes back to, and that's why this game is in need of a real overhaul so that people are actually watching the games. And if he could be appreciated at that level, people have to actually watch the games in more than highlights. I tend to go the other way. The game is broken. The style of play is broken. The game has less relevance. I don't believe Trae Young is on those guys' level. I'm hearing these numbers and the assist and all that. You can't convince me he's a playmaker on the level of Magic Johnson and John Stockton or even Isaiah Thomas. But we'll save that for another. You know, what Trae Young to me is most notable for is he's another player who was traded for Luka Doncic. Just like Anthony Davis traded for Luka Doncic, Trae Young traded. This is a draft night trade years ago. The Atlanta, I think, or did they give up a first? Atlanta got a first-round pick.
Yeah, it was the third overall and the fifth overall. Yeah. So basically, they swapped. Atlanta and Dallas swapped Trae Young and Luka
Reddish.
And the pick. So they got a conditional first round as well. Atlanta did, which turned into Cam Reddish.
You're spending too much time on Trae Young. You've distracted me, because the real story coming out of that game is that Orlando is really good. Greg Anthony's son came off the bench, Cole Anthony, who, I can't believe he's a bench player, and it speaks to the fact that he led them in scoring last night with 26 points. It speaks to the fact Orlando's really good. If Cole Anthony can come off the bench and be your sixth, seventh man or whatever, you got a good team. And now they're matched up against the Celtics in round 1 of the play. I was about to say round 2, but this play-in makes them the 7th seed, and they'll play the Boston Celtics. And they beat this Boston Celtics 2-1 in the regular season series. I think a lot of people see the Celtics as the favorite in the East, but they're going to get tested very strongly in round 1.
Yeah, it's not. Cleveland's done what they've done. Cleveland's had a historical season, but still, Boston is the favorite to come out of the East, and many think still arguably the favorite to win the NBA championship. But as you alluded to, Orlando kind of had their number in the regular season, and Orlando is not your typical 7 seed because they lost their 2 best players for large chunks of the season this year. Pablo Banchero played in only 46 games this year of the 82. He would have been all-NBA, Jason. This is like a 26 point per game, 7 rebound, 5 assist guy on average. All-NBA, probably second team, definitely third team if he played the allotted 65 that he needed to get to that threshold. Then Franz Wagner, this young stud as well, he missed 22 games this year for the Magic. So we would have likely been talking about Orlando as a 4, maybe even as high as a 3 seed this year, I think, had they not had to deal with these injuries. So this is a dangerous 7 seed, a team that, like you said, kind of had Boston's number in the regular season. The Celtics, I think, they better flip that switch because they've not been playing up to their best basketball for large stretches of the season. They could mess around and lose a couple games here in the first round.
All right. In the other play-in game last night, the Golden State Warriors, in a very competitive game, knocked off the YNs from Memphis, in the words of Marcus Morris. They knocked off Ja Morant and the YNs from Memphis, and now will face the Houston Rockets. And I think most people would think the Golden State Warriors will probably knock off Jimmy Butler with a magnificent game. He and Steph Curry, a dynamic duo.